This is 630's My Journey, My Experience podcast. Stories from 630 riders about their lives and time in the saddle. I'm your host, Dustin Geiger.
All right, welcome everyone. Here we are, episode 3 of the 630 My Journey, My Experience podcast. And today we are with another one of our legends on the leaderboard, Linda. Sorry, I forgot already. Ogata. I only know you as Lindy O on the app. Always seeing you atop the miles ridden every week. So thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
It'll be awesome to hear your stories and your time in the saddle because you obviously log a lot of miles on a weekly basis. So I'm curious, just as the CEO, to understand more about your riding habits and things like that. So yeah, thank you again for being with us.
Sure.
So I guess let's just start a little bit about you. I don't even know where do you live, and how long have you been there?
I live in Winter Garden, Florida, which is a western suburb of Orlando, and I've been here since 16 years, since 2006.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
I'm a
so
Chicagoan, just like you.
Oh, really? You are?
Originally, yeah, I grew up on the southwest side. In
Of
Tinley
Chicago.
Park, out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, Tinley, yeah, I know Tinley Park. So did you
Yeah.
spend your childhood out there?
I did. I spent my childhood there, and then when I got out of college, I lived on the north side around Lakeshore Drive in the Wrigleyville area, and then moved to Skokie before we came here. So
Okay,
I'll
wow.
hit most of the parts of town.
I didn't realize that. So you obviously understand the 630.
I absolutely
name.
do. I'm an 847 and a 773.
Yeah. Well, I think even since I left, they've even split the area codes more, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Because there's 708 now, too.
Yes.
But, wow, that's crazy. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious, where did you go to high school?
Tinley Park High School. Way back in the day. And when I grew up there was nothing there to do except roller skating, because we had a roller rink, or bike riding. We had a municipal pool, so I would go there in the summer. I would be riding my bike all over town because that's all there was to do. So I did. It was fun with my friends.
Wow. Yeah, because Tinley Park's like one of the nicer suburbs now, I feel like.
Well, now, back then, there was not much going on. It was still nice. It was a great place to grow up. But we were pretty far removed from everything. There's a venue there now for, concerts and things that didn't exist back in those days. There was no shopping except, small shops and things like that. So it was very insular, but it was a great place to grow up and be a kid because I had the run of the town, so it was fun. That was great.
Yeah, wow. Well, I mean, we moved to Naperville in 1985, and at that time it was still cornfields mostly. I mean, there was obviously Naperville Central, but
Yeah.
it's amazing just how much all that area has grown. Cool. Wow. And so did retirement bring you down to Florida? or was that
No.
pre-retirement?
My husband's family had a business that we all worked at. It was a camera store, photo studio, processing lab, and because of digital photography kind of, took a toll on the business, we decided to close the business, and my husband got a good job at Disney, so that's why we decided to relocate down here. So, yeah. And then I started watching grandchildren. I mean, at the time when we moved down here, I didn't have grandchildren, but now I do. Lots.
Yeah, wow. Is Winter Garden close to Orlando?
Yeah, it is. It's still very suburban, and it's a really nice town. Really, very cool town. But it's probably maybe 25 minutes from the downtown Orlando area, which honestly I try to avoid. It's just too much traffic.
Yeah, no, I get it. Actually, I happened to have been there in February of this year, and so we experienced some of the driving and how congested it gets by the parks. But wow, crazy. So small world. And then let's try to take you way back. So any idea when you first learned to ride a bike? how old you were
I was
and what
thinking
your
about
first
it.
bike
I
was?
think I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I got a 24-inch bike from my parents. And for some unknown reason, I decided to name it Daisy and rode that bike, like I was telling you, all over town. I had my transistor radio. You're too young to know what that is probably, but I had it hooked onto my handlebars so I could listen to WLS, which was the radio station in town to listen to back in those days. So I just rode my bike, like I said, everywhere. We had a municipal pool, so during the summer I would ride my bike there. I rode my bike to elementary school and middle school. But by the time I was in high school, I probably tapered off, and by the time I got my driver's license, I was done riding my bike for a long while, about 50 years. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what was your first bike when you got back into bike riding?
Well, I bought a 26-inch Schwinn back in the 90s. I don't remember exactly when, but at that time, my husband and myself and our 4 kids were living in an apartment above our store in the Lakeview area, and it was difficult carrying the bike up and down the stairs when I went by myself, and there wasn't really a storage place to put it, so I didn't use it that much. And then I got into, right before I turned 50, I got into fitness because there was a gym that opened up. Oh, actually, by that time we had moved to Skokie, and there was this real fancy gym that opened up. It's a chain across the country, but it was really nice, open 24 hours, and I decided I wanted to get in shape for my 50th birthday. So I started doing that, and I was kind of into that for the rest of my time there in Illinois. And then when we moved here in 2006, my bike ended up getting damaged in the move because I thought I would start bike riding down here because it's a totally different kind of area. But it got damaged in the move, and I kind of forgot about it. And then grandchildren started coming, and so I didn't have a lot of time. So it sort of got put on the back burner until COVID, and that changed everything in a lot of ways. But definitely jump-started my passion for riding again. So that's what.
And that's when you got your 630?
It is. Well, actually, before I got that, I had been looking for a bike, but if you recall, at the beginning of, well, during 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, when people were on lockdown and on furloughs from jobs and so forth, there were not a lot of bikes available at all. It was really hard to get. The local bike shops didn't have any. Walmart, Target, no, I couldn't find a bike anywhere. So I started looking on Amazon, and I was looking for the best reviews. And I was looking strictly at beach cruisers. And 630's name kept coming up. So I almost bought a bike through Amazon, but then I'm the kind of person that likes to buy direct when I can. So I went on your website, and I found the area that shows bikes in stock. So I was really thrilled that you had a 26-inch around the block in stock in coral. So I got that bike in, I believe it was March of 2021. So actually, let me back up a little. I started riding a used Huffy that I bought from someone off of Facebook Marketplace in the meantime. So I rode that from May of 2020 until March of 2021 when I got the 630. The first 630.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it, yeah. And if you don't, just to backtrack a little, if you don't mind sharing, how old are you, Linda?
I am 69. I'll be 70 in November.
Wow, okay.
I hate to
want
even
everyone
say
to have some No, I mean, you look great, by the way.
Well, thank you,
And
Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin. I want everyone to have the context around, because as we get into your riding, I also want everyone to hear not only about the bike you're actually riding, but then how many miles you're logging.
Okay.
Because I think it's very, very, very impressive. So you got a single speed, right? The around the block single speed.
Yes. I've only ridden single speed bikes my whole life. I've never ridden, well, except for the one time I borrowed my husband's, but I'm a recreational rider, not a competitive rider or anything, so yeah.
So, and then all the bikes have they always been coaster brake, pedaling backwards to
Yes.
stop?
I'm like a little kid, yes.
Wow, crazy. Okay, So then I don't have your stats up in front of me, but so you got back into riding, and then how many miles a week when you first got the 630 do you think you were riding per week?
I loved it right away. First of all, I want to compliment you on whoever designed the handlebars the way they are, because that just works for me so well, and it's comfortable, and the seat is comfortable. I mean, when you put a lot of miles on it, not that comfortable, but the handlebars are great. Ergonomically, it really works well for me. So I don't know exactly. I probably did better in 2021. I looked it up. I did around 4,500 miles in 2021, which was from March until December. So nine months. So
wow.
So 500 a month about.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And this
and
is
so far
all
this
I
year
want
I'm
everyone to
at,
understand.
I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
This year so far I'm at 1661, which, I'm a little lagging. I'm not doing quite as well, but my husband had hip surgery, and so, I had to take a little time off, so, yeah.
But, based on the recent leaderboard, we're seeing that you're back at it, because we see you and Jody battling for the top spot weekly.
Yeah, and I don't really look at it as battling Jody. She's amazing, and so I don't think I could really ever keep up with her. If I'm at the top of the leaderboard, it's because she had a bad weather day, basically. But, I just, the app actually has been great for me, because just wherever I am on the leaderboard, it's not like I'm trying to beat anyone but myself. I'm trying to push myself to see if I can find a little bit more energy and a little bit more to just go out again when I'm tired and I don't feel like it. Because I always feel better when I do. When I come back, I'm always so glad I went. But sometimes I do have to push myself. If the weather's a little bad, in the winter it can get cold even here. I mean, it's all relative, but so yeah, it's been really good in that way. But yeah, it's not so much me trying to always be, up at the top of the leaderboard, although it's nice too. It's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. Before the 630 app, would you track your rides or no?
No, I don't have a Fitbit or anything. I probably need to get something, an Apple Watch or something, but I don't.
Oh, okay. But then every time you get on, you do start the app, you do track your rides, you want to log and see.
Yes.
And I'm just curious, the rides that you do you do the same route every time? And then how many days a week are you getting out typically?
Typically 7, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And sort of. I live in a gated community, a rather large gated community that's a golf course community. And there's about 1,250 homes, so it's pretty spread out. And I usually ride within our community into the different neighborhoods, and sometimes on the golf course, because our golf course has been closed for the last 2 years, and that's going to change. Somebody else just took it over, but I've been able to ride on the course, which is much more hilly than the streets, because Florida is pretty flat, but the course had some hills, so that helped me push myself even more, so that's been good. But I do have a couple different routes all within the community. But yeah, it's kind of boring. I plan on getting a hitch, that's not the right word, for the to carry the bikes, because we have this thing called the West Orange Trail, which is a rail trail that's about 22 miles long that goes through my town, and it's very beautiful, and there's a lot of walkers and riders, and I would like to ride over there. So I need to get the bike carrier so my husband and I can do that, but I haven't yet. So far just within my community mostly.
Yeah, so you're talking, you were riding on like the cart path on the golf course, is that what it was? Sometimes I was, and sometimes I ride on the street. Okay. Gotcha.
Sometimes I'll veer up onto the sidewalk if there's a car coming, but the street is smoother pavement and a better ride for me. But again, it's all within this community, so there's not a lot of traffic at all.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so how long each ride do you typically go for on average?
It's usually about an hour for 10 miles because I do 2 10-mile rides a day if I can, weather permitting or, my life permitting. Sometimes it's 11 or 12 or 13 if I'm having a good day or pushing myself or trying to meet a personal goal, then I might push myself a little bit more. But generally it's 2 10-mile rides, one in the daytime and one at night.
Wow. Okay, so one ride is happening, sometime around noon or 1 or 11?
Well, not during the summer down here. These summers are brutal and it's really hot and humid. So I usually go out around 10, maybe 9:30 or 10. And then again, I will wait until maybe 7:30. I actually went about 8:45 the other day because I wanted it to be dark when I was riding my night ride, because it's a completely different experience riding at night than during the day.
Yeah, definitely. So almost 20 miles a day basically is what you're striving for, which is about 140 miles a week. Wow.
And I try to do 7, but I don't always get 7 days in. Every once in a while I don't.
I just have to say, honestly, for anyone that's listening, how impressive that is, because this is a single speed bike. So no gears, so any hills or anything you're going up, you've got no gears to shift into, and you're doing 10 miles each ride, 20 miles total. So the other thing I think is fantastic about that is there's a lot of myths around what you can and can't do on a single speed. And it's funny because when you had some bike issues and we were helping you out, I didn't realize you had a single speed bike, and I was like, wow, that's just unbelievable. So, I'm amazed, honestly. So, yeah, that's great. 140 miles a week, and I'm curious then, what do you typically bring with you on your rides? You obviously go at night, so do you have a light on your bike?
I do. I have a light in the front, and I have a backup one too, so I have 2 headlights, and I have the flashing red one in the back, and then I have a little bag that goes on the handlebars, and in there I have nitrile gloves in case I have to do anything with the chain, which I haven't had to with my newest bike, but the other one after my accident, sometimes the chain would come off, so I had to fix it, and a flashlight, and my ID, and sometimes, like some hard candy or something. That's about it.
Water? No water?
No.
No water?
I know, Jody would be so upset with me.
Wow. So,
no.
Wow, that's crazy. So even for 10 miles, no water, and then no stopping on that 10 miles. Is it just 10 miles straight
Sometimes
through?
I do. Actually, I was going to mention that was one of the things that happened as I started riding more, is I got to know a lot of people in my area, within my community, that I didn't know, because, as I say, there's about 1,250 homes. So people that live on the other side of the community were not my neighbors, and I didn't really know them. But as I was riding my bike around every day, twice a day, people would start to stop me and talk to me and say, how many miles do you do a day? Or let me see your bike, and things like that, So it got me into conversations, and I've made a lot of friends. And it's funny because I'll be in Lowe's or in the grocery store, and people I don't know will come up to me and stop me and say, I know you. I know where you live. I see you riding your bike all the time. And it's funny, but even there's been people that will stop their car in our community, roll down the window, and say, you are such an inspiration. Now, I'm not saying, because that embarrasses me a little bit, but I feel like in my own small way, if I'm able to encourage people to either walk or run or ride their bike or do whatever they want to do just to get outside and do something active, then I feel like that's a contribution that I'm making, and that makes me really happy.
No, absolutely. I think that's amazing. Yeah, you're sort of a local celebrity in your own way. No, I think it's great.
My kids laugh at that.
Everybody needs inspiration, to get out working out. So I agree. I think it's amazing. Is the bike for you then your primary form of exercise?
Yes. I also walk. I walked a lot before I started bike riding. Before COVID, I was walking all the time. I would probably walk 9 miles, between 7 and 9 miles a day.
Wow.
Which again, that really doesn't sound like that much to people that are runners or whatever, but I just wanted to keep moving and keep active. It clears my mind, and I listen to podcasts or audiobooks or music, and it's a great experience. But now I would say the bike is primary and walking is secondary.
Yeah, by the way, 7 to 9 miles walking a day is a lot for anyone. I don't care if you're a runner or
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that's got to be at least 2 hours, two plus hours of walking, I would think, a day.
I would be more than one walk. I wouldn't do it
Okay.
all in one. Yeah,
Got it,
so
got it.
it would be an hour at a time. I would walk like 3.3 miles each walk, and that's an hour.
Got it.
And so I'd do like 3 walks.
Got it. So you mentioned something about an accident, and we obviously got you a new bike. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened to your first bike?
I thought about whether I wanted to tell you the truth about this, because it's very embarrassing and it doesn't put me in a very good light at all. But I'm going to tell everyone for a cautionary tale.
Okay.
So I was riding at night. This was last June. I was riding at night, and I had been with my daughter and her family earlier in the day, and she called me and said she put pictures on Facebook. So my phone is mounted onto my handlebars. So there's no traffic out at night. It's real quiet. So I'm looking at the pictures on Facebook and not looking where I was going. And I ran into a parked SUV at 13 miles an hour. And
Wow.
yeah, it was not pretty. So the bike did okay. It was out of alignment. And then I kept having problems with it. So I went to the bike shop, and they said, it was going to cost so much to repair it. So, then I got in touch with Alana to talk to her about, at that time I was looking for a Black Friday sale. So that was, but it was one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life, and I will never make that mistake again. And I wasn't wearing a helmet.
Do you wear a helmet now? Or no?
I bought a 630 helmet to match my bike.
I was going to say, we could have sent you a helmet.
No, I got one.
And I'm just curious, was there any damage to the car, or was the car fine?
No, thank goodness the car was fine, but I had like a terrible black eye. The whole side of my face was all black and blue, and I had to go have a CT scan and all that stuff just to make sure everything was okay. So I was pretty sore, but I think I was more embarrassed than anything else, because it was truly one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life.
I mean, it happens to.
So now I always look where I'm going.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious. Did you hit the back of the car, the back of the parked SUV?
Yes.
And you hit into the back shield or the window?
I think it was the tire, luckily, and I don't have fenders on around the block, so the tire hit the back of the SUV, and then it kind of threw me off to the side, and it knocked me. The bike was kind of on top of me on the pavement.
Okay, so you didn't fly into you didn't hit your head on the car.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
The handlebars kind of nipped me a little bit. I think that's where I got my black eye. And it was also, the impact was pretty jarring. But luckily, the guy who owned the car was just going into his house, and he came out and helped me up and everything. And so, like I said, cautionary tale for all you people. Always pay attention, even if there's no one else around.
I'm just one more question. So then, did you walk your bike home, or did your husband pick you up? How did you get out of there?
I finished my ride, Dustin. I got back on the bike and finished my ride, and I came home. At that point, I didn't have a black eye until the next morning. So at that point, I probably was halfway through, and I finished the rest of the ride and came in and said to my husband, I was in an accident. He's like, oh my God, why did you call me? But, and then the next morning I said, maybe this is worse than I thought it was. So then I went to the hospital to get checked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you are unbelievable. And I mean, in a good way. So you rode another 5 miles.
In a stupid way.
Yeah, but still, that's amazing. I'm impressed with your tenacity to make it home. That's crazy. So you rode 5 more miles, got home. And then now, I don't. So did we send you the same exact bike? And we wanted to keep
Yeah,
Linda
just a
riding.
different color. I had contacted Alana because I had noticed on the information for around the block that it's like for an occasional rides kind of thing. And I said, I put a lot of miles on the bike, and I want to make sure that I'm not compromising the integrity of the bike by putting so many miles on it. Before I buy a new one, I just want to make sure it's okay. And she said she checked with the mechanics, and they said, no, it's fine. The bike can handle it. But she said maybe you'd be more comfortable though with a different bike that has different speeds. It would be easier for you instead of working so hard to get those miles. But I thought about it, and I decided that working hard at each of those 10-mile rides was part of what I wanted, because I want to get my heart rate up. I want to push myself physically, and so I decided to stick with around the block for the second one too.
Wow, for the single speed. And what color do you have now?
Mint green.
Mint green. So you went from the coral to the mint green. And
Yes.
the accident happened in June of last year, did you say?
Yes.
So you had only
And
you bought.
Oh, no, that's not right. No, it happened in November. I'm sorry.
November,
It happened in November, and I got the new bike in November also. So I've been riding the mint green one since it actually came the week of my birthday. So that was really nice. I got the new bike, and I've been riding that one since then.
Cool. And so I guess the first one pre-crash, probably you had, probably 3,500 miles on it. Because you did 46.
No, actually, I did in 2021. That was primarily, let me think. That I did most of the miles on the Coral bike.
Okay.
And then, because I didn't get the new one until the end of November, so I did over 4,000 miles on the Coral bike.
Wow, that's amazing. So so that's just another testament to a single speed coaster brake bike that you logged 4,000 plus miles. And just to say too, the bike held up, and now you're riding a new one.
Yeah.
So now on the new one, you've got probably almost 2,000. Then you've got a little bit from last year.
Yes.
Cool. So for the rest of the summer, then the goals are the same that you discussed, basically 7 days a week. You're planning to get out to that? You said the West Orange Trail. Is that what you called it?
I'm hoping to, yes, and I'm going to try. Like I said, Florida summers are not that much fun. It rains. We're going into our rainy season, so that's going to influence, especially my night rides, because it usually starts raining in the late afternoon. So I should be able to get my morning rides in, but I'm going to do as much as I can. And it's already like in the 90s and like 80% humidity, so I'll probably start bringing water with me.
And does your husband ever ride with you, or is he?
He did before his hip replacement. He did, and he's got an old, like a Walmart bike, but it's got, I don't know, it's a multi-speed bike. I don't know how many, but he does. In fact, he goes by Papa Bear when he's on the 630 app, because we checked first, and Alana said it was okay for him to use the app, even though he doesn't yet have a 630 bike. So disclaimer
absolutely.
there. Wanted to make sure it was okay.
All riders welcome, absolutely. But go ahead.
Oh, he is like a judo instructor, so that's his first love. So he does that more than bike riding. So I have to push him a little bit to come with me.
Well, that's great. Wow. And you guys aren't close to the beach then, right? Because you're more inland. Is that?
It's an hour to the East Coast, and about a little over 2 hours to the West Coast beaches.
Have you ever gotten out there to ride by the beach at all, or no?
I haven't. I should, since it's a beach cruiser, though.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of interesting, right? I don't really know the history on why they're called beach cruisers necessarily. Originally I think the Schwinn's were more just cruisers, but somehow,
Right.
now it's become a beach cruiser. So, okay, well, so you're planning I guess we've got summer's basically just starting. but you may only get in night rides or one ride a day in the summer.
Or morning, yeah.
Morning, okay, gotcha.
I'm going to London next month, and so I may, if I'm adventurous enough, get one of their like rental bikes there. That, you know how they have them out on the street. They call them Boris bikes, I think, there. And so you can. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it just because of the traffic patterns and me not being used to all that, and I don't want to get myself killed. So we'll see. But I might.
You should, and you should log the ride on the app, and make your
right.
So
That'd
your
be fun.
destination's London. Yeah. Wow, that'd be super cool. Well, cool. I really appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure everyone in the Peddlers group, if you're not already a member out there, join our Peddlers group and download the app. You can follow Linda as Lindy O, and she's always atop the leaderboard. This will be fun to share this video with everyone so they can get to know a little bit more about you and your rides. And yeah, I can't wait to track the rest of your rides for the summer.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for being with us. And don't forget, if anyone else wants to join the podcast, you can shoot us an email at theteam@sixthreezero.com. We'd love to have you. And thanks again, Linda, for sharing your stories and time in the saddle. And until next time, everyone. Bye, Linda.